Hi there, thank you so much again for joining me on this channel. As always, I'm very grateful for all your previous views, likes, subscriptions and shares. I do hope that this week has been kind to you, and we shall be looking at Buddhism and the festival of Vesak. I knew there was a festival called Vesak, I had a broad idea of what it was about, but I was just stunned, as always, by my own ignorance, and what I'm hoping to share with you are some of the things that I've discovered whilst putting this together. Vesak is a lunar festival and takes place during the first full moon of the ancient lunar month of Vesak. So this places it around May or June time. Vesak can also be known as the Buddha's birthday or Buddha Day, and it's a time to celebrate the birth of the Buddha, his enlightenment, and also his death. Not uncommon for a religion to have a festival around springtime, new starts, fresh beginnings. The Buddhist home will be tidied up, fresh offerings will be taken to the temple. It is worth pointing out there are different branches of Buddhism. So as well as sort of general rituals associated with Vesak, each one will have its own particular traditions and of course based on the country where it's predominantly practiced. So we can't go through every single one, but that's okay, that's part of the fun of it. But there are three main strands I just wanted to draw your attention to. Buddhism originated from India, and Theravada Buddhism is said to be most closely related to it in that original form and is practiced in Sri Lanka, in Thailand and Myanmar. Mahayana Buddhism is practiced most by the Chinese community in Singapore. Vajrayana Buddhism is practiced in Nepal, Tibet, Mongolia and certain parts of Russia. I'm thinking too that maybe at some point I need to do a little video on these differences between the different traditions and how they came about, but let's leave that for another time. Some say that confession is good for the soul, and I do need to confess. A while ago I put together a video on Buddhist symbols. Rather brilliantly and quite spectacularly, I managed to miss the Buddhist flag. I had no idea until I was putting this video together on Vesak that a Buddhist flag did actually exist. So it's time to correct those mistakes. At the start of Vesak, at the temple, the Buddhist flag is often raised. It's raised by the Sangha, the community, to acknowledge the Dharma, the teachings of the Buddha. The Buddhist flag came into being in the 1800s, and the colours all signify something. This is probably very disconcerting for you at the moment because you can see I've placed myself in the middle of the screen. Because the reason why I've done that is I didn't want to hide over here the horizontal stripes. First used in Sri Lanka, and as you can tell, all the colours represent something. So blue symbolises universal compassion. Yellow symbolises the middle way and the path to finding enlightenment. Red symbolises the blessings of the Buddhist teachings. White symbolises the purity of the Buddhist teachings and how it can reach all beings. Orange symbolises the unshakable truth of the teachings of the Buddha. The combination of colours symbolises the universality of the teachings. There is a slightly more modern translation of these colours which go as follows. Blue representing the idea of loving kindness. Yellow still signifies the middle pathway. Red signifies achievement, wisdom and dignity. White signifying freedom, and that the middle way will exist regardless of time and space. Orange represents the dignity of Buddhism, and the little combination of colours represents there is one universal truth. Okay, it feels a bit more natural to be back on this side of the screen. So, as it's a birthday, obviously gifts need to be involved, and worshippers will take to the temple various offerings, flowers, fruit, joss sticks, candles. These are all significant because they are all temporary. They will eventually either rot away or fade away or burn away. And it's a reminder that life is transient. It's not permanent. So there's a kind of beauty to these gifts, but also behind it that important spiritual message that this life is not permanent. Now, as part of Vesak, Mahayana Buddhists practice what's known as the 3-step 1 bow ritual. The idea is that you walk 3 steps and then bow or prostrate yourselves. Probably one of the most famous places where this happens is at the Kongmeng Shan 4 Karksi Monastery in Singapore. Devotees will walk around the perimeter of the temple. It takes about 2 to 2.5 hours. It's a ticketed event too, if people actually want to go and watch. In Theravada Buddhism, food is important when it comes to celebrating the birthday of the Buddha. This is some rice pudding. I don't know if you bake rice pudding. Normally I just heat it out of a can, but this milky rice pudding is believed to have been the last thing that the Buddha ate before he went to attain enlightenment. A common ritual too is to give the Buddha a bath. So you have your statue and you pour over it fragrant water, as this wonderful image shows. Why this bathing of the Buddha? Well, water represents calmness and serenity, and represents the calmness and serenity of the Buddha after he achieved enlightenment, something that all Buddhists are striving to achieve. It also reenacts when the Buddha was born, that apparently there was lots of rain and showers to mark out the special destiny that this child had. Making lanterns is a part of Vesak celebrations too. In the top left you can see you have a lantern which is octagonal in shape, and those 8 sides represent the Noble Eightfold Path. Another favourite shape of lantern to be used, as you can see in the image here, and they're floating on the water, is of lotus flowers. The lotus flower is an important symbol in Buddhism. As it grows on water, it has to overcome adversity, and those strong roots represent the strong roots of the teachings of the Buddha. The open petals represent an open mind. Local customs and national traditions play a part in Vesak. At the Thek Cheng Choling Temple in Singapore, you can go and get your animal blessed in a prayer ceremony to mark Vesak. In Laos and Thailand, there is something known as the Bun Bang Phay Festival. It's held in mid-May, but as a result, it often overlaps with Vesak and has its roots in paganism. It's a time to honour the sky god, and in particular the rains that will hopefully come to grow the crops. There's of course elaborate parades and feasting, but most importantly, rockets are fired up into the sky. So that's it. I hope that I've given you a little insight into Vesak. I was really challenged with my subject knowledge. I knew very, very little about it. And I'm going to be honest with you, I really enjoyed it. And I'm just really pleased now that I've got a bit more about Vesak in my brain, I suppose you could say. So please do take care of yourselves. Thank you so much for watching. And as always, enjoy your learning.